what's up YouTube, Spencer K here, and I am back for another one of these Nation 1.0 tour videos. This time we are out of my nation finally and touring another nation. This is going to be Dan's nation, aka Hyrule. He is currently the second world power. Now, I think this is going to be the last video where it's dedicated to only one nation. He is really the only remaining nation where it's large enough to withstand one entire nation for the whole video. We'll have to see. I could be wrong. Our third place may be in it as well. I'm going to go down the row in order from World Power, which is already done, to the smallest powers, which I may not even do some of them because some of them don't have very much, but we'll have to see when the time comes. Alrighty, starting off here in Dan's Nation, it's going to be his capital. Now, there doesn't look like much compared to my capital, and it's really nowhere near the size of my capital. When I said that my capital and my cities were as big as every other nation combined, I was not playing. You will not see anything like you guys saw in the previous videos, but this nation still has some stuff that I think is pretty dope, and let's go ahead and hop right into it. This is Dan's flag. Hopefully you guys recognize it. It is in one of the embassies, and hopefully you guys recognize this flag. I think you guys would. We dedicated 2 old episodes before this to this flag, and the reason this my flag is here is because this is my embassy. I almost have an embassy in everyone's land, as well as I have almost invited everyone into my... Actually, I have invited everyone. They just all haven't come yet and claimed an embassy. So that's neat. You will see these in almost all of them. I can only think about 3 or 4 that you will not, and that is okay, because I was planning on it, but as you can tell, I won't be able to do that because I'm at bootcamp by the time you guys see this video. But skipping the embassies, not really skipping because we just talked about it, but moving on from the embassies, we have Dan's skyscraper. I don't remember the purpose of this building, but he did build it to build the tallest building in the world. He has since been beaten, I think, by several nations at this point. But he did build it. It is super, super tall. Each floor is like 5 tall, I think, and it's impressive. And so, it's a tall building. I can verify you will die if you fall off. I've tested it. Alrighty guys, sorry about that, I'm back, and here's a barn he has. This is where he keeps a lot of his horses. I think he has some cows and whatnot, pigs. Yep, he does. And the horses are for a racetrack that we'll get to in a little bit, but his racetrack is super, super, super cool. He has a little mining thing, not mining rail, a mine rail to take him to the racetrack. This goes from his capital to his little village, snow village. It's a little mine, bank. Couldn't tell. I don't even think. Yeah, no, this is not a building. I was like, I couldn't even tell you what that is. And then we're gonna go up. There's his house. He's got a neat little hill house. I really like his house. He's also super proud of his wall. I have to point out his wall. I think it was one of the first things built. I think it was the first thing built besides that little mine down there I showed you. I think it goes the mine, this wall, and then that farm down there. So this wall is super cool. This wall was actually completed before any of my guard towers, I want to say. So he did have the first guard towers in the world, which is really hard to do when you're competing against me, cough cough dash, but it's a really old wall. I really, really like it. It's really tall. He spent a lot of time on it, a lot of mining. As you can tell, he still kind of works on landscaping every now and then. He just has not been on as much. If you guys can't tell, I'm super tired. I'm super quiet. As well as in the mic, so I apologize for that. Oh, he has some sheep out back too at the barn. I pointed out the farm as well. Not much here. I think he just grows what he needs, and I guess these were the last items he needed. So, and a lot of this, like the carrots, he grew for the potion thing. I'm sure that he did. I'm sure the melons he did for glistening melon, golden carrots and sugar. That's my guess, to be honest. He probably had the sugar because that was way back before there was a sugarcane competition going on. And let's go ahead and hop into Dan's, one of his 2 pride and joys. Dan has 2 pride and joys in his nation, and this was it. I think it's number 2 now. I think he outdid himself, but this is his potion brewing facility. It's fully automatic. It brews 1 double chest of potions every 5 minutes. Once he gets cooking, he can actually do it in about 3 minutes, so... but the whole blaze powder update for brewing has kind of messed him up. This is a rail that leads you to my nation. In the first episode I showed you of a rail that leads to here. This is the other side of it, so it actually hooks into Dan's brewing facility. And that is just, I guess, because we ship a lot of materials back and forth, and a lot of potions, so he just kept it nice and clean. And we're not really in the potion brewing facility. If Dan wanted to, he could add a nice little interior here, and this would really just be a lobby type area, maybe a little storage thing. So we're not quite into it yet. Back here is a warehouse. Most of these are filled up with potions. This is warehouse 2. There's 2 little warehouses, so this is a massive facility. I think I am building a couple that are bigger than it now, but back in the days, this was it. I had nothing close to this, but a few things sparked some facilities. I think I showed you guys some of them. After this video, I actually went and built a lumber mill. It's pretty big. I don't think it's quite as big as this one, but it's pretty big. Now, I'm not really supposed to show the redstone room. Obviously, there's going to be redstone and dispensers and whatnot, so that should be okay. But here, I'll come back to this in a sec. Here is where the magic happens. All the redstone right above us, as you saw a tiny peek of. What it'll do is he'll click a button, and it'll drop some stuff in, and then when he's done, he'll click gunpowder if he wants gunpowder. I believe brewing is first it kicks out the nether warts, and then it'll actually kick out what you want. So that's actually another super cool thing. And like I said, he did about 3 to 5 minutes for a single double chest, which is impressive back in the day. Anymore, with the whole blaze powder, and because yeah, they added that blaze powder. And if you want a special brew, or you have to, I mean, you still can. But what if it's a special circumstance? I guess he'd have to take a lot of the potions and he'd bring them in here and mess with them, so that might take a little bit longer. Redstone was also one of those, so another war item, and then redstone would all be up in the brewing one, and then gunpowder separate if you want gunpowder. But back in the day, this was a super cool facility. It's still super impressive. Dan's just gonna have to do a little bit of work on it in order to get it back up to full production. And down here, like I said, there's warehouse 1, which is what this one says. So there's 2 warehouses, and I'm pretty sure they're both about half full, maybe a little bit less, but he has quite a bit of potions still here, saved up from last time. I know after the World War is when his production really just quit on him, so that's really a shame. But that's okay, just like everyone else, this world has slowed down. It's slowly picking back up. Dan's pride and joy. I'm going to call it his first pride and joy. I truly believe it's #1 for him now. We'll be up next. I'll see you guys down in his southern village. Alrighty guys, I am back, and I lied. I am not at his southern village. There are 2 states in between Dan's capital and Dan's southern village. And I figured I might as well hit them. I really hit up states in the last episode of Nations Tours, which was all my states. And even though some of these aren't as great, I still want to point them out. Now, this is one of Dan's states. I cannot remember who owns it, as I'm not the leader of his nation, so I don't have to. But I can remember he's going to turn this into a plantation. Whether or not he's going to make villagers slaves or not, I don't know if that was a joke or something for real. That's not a new idea in nations. A lot of people have suggested using villagers as slaves or workers. I don't really see the point. They don't do much, and you can't really get anything from them without emeralds. So I don't know. That might have just been a joke. But he was planning on building a really large, I want to say, sugar plantation to go ahead and compete in the sugar race, which there's already a couple nations, I believe. I have a small one. I'm not really competing. Pharaoh State, as well as I believe Armegedon is going to start competing. This guy might have. So there was a bunch of little ones. No one's going to match Pharaoh, though. I can promise that. But I'll see you guys at the next state. Alrighty guys, I didn't know this, but these 2 states are actually within viewing distance of each other. They're both really small. I guess I should have just hit them both up at the same time. This guy I even know less about. I think he was on before, and he hasn't been on since. I think he was on once and has never come back on. Couldn't tell you what his plans are or anything. I know that both of these states are friends of Dan IRL, so that could be a thing. One of them I think is a firefighter, and the other one I think is in college. I mean, Dan will probably correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, so look out for that comment. I'm almost 100% positive he will comment that. I won't be here to adjust my description, but Dan will be down there. I know he will. He's the type of guy that'll comment on a video about him. No, I'm playing, but he'll tell you all the information, guys. I'm sure he'll give you a nice little comment or whatever. If not, I'm wrong. Oh well. He might not do it now because I said he would. I don't know, we'll have to see. But on to a southern village, which I am excited to tour. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at a southern village, and isn't it a pretty sight? Now, I am super impressed with what Dan has going on here. I love the fact that he has a little hotel with it has a restaurant in it, the shipping building, and then a little storage place. This is all this stone brick is for the same purpose. It is a racetrack. You have viewing stands up here. They're all indoors because it is a snow track, so that was a really good idea of Dan. I didn't really think about that. I was going to make them outdoors if I made a snow one, but he made them all indoors and kind of heater usable because it's constantly snowing and cold. And I mean, I guess you could make a little outdoor viewing one up here, the cheap seats, whatever, people that just would rather bundle up. I'm sure that'd be okay, but this is the first completed racetrack in the world. We were going to do a competition before I left. Sadly, we will not get to it, which is a shame. We were going to do it, but some stuff popped up for me, as well as everyone else was doing stuff, and instead of trying to cram it in with just a couple and making it sloppy, I figured we'll do it when I come back sometime, which is just as good. Hopefully there'll be more racetracks. We toured Silver's little racetrack, which is about I want to say half the size of this one. Maybe, I don't know, it's a triangle, so it might be about 2/3, but it is smaller. My track, as you guys all saw, is not even done, and this is not even one turn of that thing. I wouldn't say it's massive, but it's not done, so it doesn't mean much. So this one is done. It's super cool. We're gonna go ahead and check out the hotel first. Here's a shipping building, or not the shipping, but the storage building, as I said. And you might have heard me say there was a rail that leads to a southern village. This is where it ends. This is the other side of it, which is super cool. Myself and Dan are the two most linked countries. We link all of our stuff together via rail. We are linked to each other. Currently, there's a rail going from me to Ravens, and me to Coolguy, Ravens to Coolguy, Coolguy down to Pharaoh, and then Pharaoh to Money. So there's a lot of projects that all those nations are currently working on. I believe me to Raven, yeah, me and Ravens is done. Me to Coolguy is almost done. We are probably 20 minutes of placing stuff down away from being done. And then from there, it's quite a bit of work. I think Money to Pharaoh is almost done as well, but that's not why we're here. Let's go ahead and check out the hotel. I believe this is the entrance. Yep, the hotel slash restaurant. Really nice interior here. I like what Dan did. I got my, he did a nice little pool table. He has a couple of seats, free cake, and I actually think you have to pay if you're competing here. We got cake and food in case it's on easy mode for the competition, which we'll probably never do it because we always go on creative. Speaking of which, I am in creative right now. I'm still in that same copy of the world. We filmed all of the fireworks you guys saw in creative. Hate to tell you guys, I know, but the only nation that had enough fireworks to put on a show by himself that could actually make a decent show was me. I was the only one with any fireworks stored, and I figured it'd be cool to see all the nations do fireworks because we all wanted to celebrate the 4th, and I hope I didn't spam you guys too much. But back to this. I really like this restaurant. It's a really nice idea. It's really cool. Upstairs here we have little hotel rooms, just big enough to fit a couple people in for the races. Nothing like a luxury resort. I mean, the whole purpose is to race here, so that's our whole idea. I like what he did with the carpet. Dan really did spend a lot of time and ideas on this. I also like what he did with the windows and all of them. That is also a super cool idea. And overall, I just really like this area in the world. This is stuff I'd like to see everyone do. I mean, this is the only other place in the world besides anywhere in my country. My nation's the only one with little places for fun. This is the only other one in the world that is for more of a chillax, kick back, nothing to do with nations, fun type themed building. It has a hotel and a little racetrack for us to compete. No one else is really building fun stuff yet, so it's really cool to come on and see this. I'm going to go ahead and enter this door. There was a little thing you could enter over there, and that actually take you to the back side. So you can go up there, and it'd take you up here. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go to get onto the racetrack and go through here. Dan has some polar bears in the back. I believe this is the only place polar bears are spawning like crazy. All the other snow biomes I have seen none. So I don't know. Maybe Dan's just got a lucky snow biome. But he is storing them. They are kind of stupid, I'm not going to lie. He named one of them. It was this one. He did name one of them, but I don't want that word to go in the video, so we're not gonna put that in. Alrighty, so we did have to come into the hotel to find the entrance. It was right here. This place is a maze for me. It's pretty easy for Dan. I think that's Victory Lane. Yeah, I think it is. Oh, that might be Victory Lane as well. But from on the track, I don't know why I went through the building to get on the track now that I think about it. That was kind of my fault, but it's really a nice track. It's actually on ice, so you're going to be slipping this whole time. You're going to be, and it's a horse race track, so horses don't jump, and you don't want to race them while they jump. So you go into that turn, you're going to be slipping. So it's going to be really nice competition. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to record, and hopefully we'll get a video out for you guys one day. But other than that, guys, that's going to really wrap up his little snow village. Right behind me, I almost forgot about, is going to be my military base and Dan's military base. Now, in the picture of mine, it seemed a little bit bigger. Dan actually said I can come out to, I think it was about right here-ish, and I actually might. We'll have to see. I'd really like to add some stuff to this military base, and I can really only expand back to right in here because I don't want to run into that. And if that ever expands, more hotels, more stores, whatever, I don't want to be in the way of that. So I might actually cut the wall right about here where the trees are. But my base here, like I always have, a couple of barracks for troops to stay in if they're ever stationed here. A little enchantment table, which I need to finish the roof. No, the roof is done. Little embassy, a place for me to stay. And to conduct foreign diplomacy type of deal. Still got some interior to do. We got a little storage building. This is for materials if I ever need to. If I ship weapons or whatnot, it's a little place I can hold it. Like I said, there's some more stuff I want to add. A couple of guard towers, nothing too impressive. And I got three guard towers, nice. And then here's Dan's base. Here's Dan's military base. He has one right next to us. We're kind of a joint force op base. As you can see, I believe what I was going to do is no, because this is my wall. Dan didn't want to build. I think Dan's going to build a wall right here as well. And we might just put a fence in between or something. That way troops just can't run back and forth. Because the whole point is you don't want them to go into another nation's territory and screw it up. And you never know what will happen. Me and Dan, as nations, are close and are united, though. So that's okay. No matter what happens here at this wall, we'll know what's up. I mean, obviously, this is Dan's land, so we're obviously cool if he's letting me build a base here. And the reason Dan built this base here, I couldn't tell you much about it or what the buildings are. But over here, there were a bunch of crafting tables, and that are not from Dan. Back when the Kaiser up there and Dash went to war down there, they had a battle here on Dan's land. It was actually, I believe it's been mined up. There's a little, like, desert thing right here, I want to say, a little bit of sand. It might have been right here, actually, where they had a battle and they fought. And Dan didn't like that they were on his territory, even though they caused no damage, but placing some crafting tables. Dan was still pissed, because, you know, you don't go on another man's land to fight. If two people are going to battle it out, you go on each other's land, you don't meet in the middle. It's just messed up. And, I mean, to be fair for Kaiser, he's completely surrounded by me and Dan, which we'll take a look at the map right now. Yeah, so as you guys saw, Kaiser is surrounded, and it sucks for him, so he has to get permission from me and Dan to leave, which he did. He had permission to go through Dan's land down to Dash's land to fight, but not permission to fight in Dan's land, if that makes sense. So it's kind of a rough situation, and that's actually what sparked this wall. It's what sparked this base. It's what sparked that base. My base did not exist until Dan started building his wall. And down here is another little base. I think it's going to be a different base for a different reason. This little wall with guard towers and base was sparked back when Runty and Dan had their little 6-potion war. And as you guys saw by Dan's potion brewing facility, it was something that'd be really cool to steal from. I mean, obviously we all don't think Runty did it nowadays, but you can see why Dan would like to protect it. He wouldn't want people mingling, just going around in it. It's something he wanted to keep private, especially with redstone. I believe he gave me permission to check out the redstone, but I'm not going to, because it was his pride and joy. It caused a war over it, kind of, as well. So, other than that, guys, that's going to wrap it out for our second world power, the Hyrule Nation. It has not been very active recently. I hope you guys do enjoy. I hope you guys understand why I won't be in the comment section, because I am in boot camp. Hope you guys get to see y'all soon. And I guess I'll talk to you guys when I'm back. Or I guess for you guys in the next video, huh?